Okay, everybody, we're back and we're talking the roots of DC's Elseworlds and their infinite worlds. I'm Wes.
And I'm Chris.
And we are
Last Bastion Studios.
All right, Chris, said it once, I'll say it a million times. I didn't like DC as a kid. And again, this is another little treasure out of that one garage sale.
The infamous garage sale.
The infamous garage sale that had all these DC comics. I picked these up and I started flipping through them and I thought, this will be fun, the imaginary stories. And I quickly realized, this is the roots of DC's Elseworlds. Let's start with this guy right here. One of the things I'll say about this is this particular comic is sort of the Kurt Swan show. He's done a lot of the art. I think he's done like 70% of the art in this particular one. But the sort of thing with these imaginary tales, it was sort of, basically they were fill-in issues. If they were in the middle of a story arc and somebody couldn't get something done in time, they would slip in one of these imaginary tales to sort of give them a month's time, and then, but it was always going to be something that was never going to be, true. But this eventually leads to all the DC's Elseworlds because some of these stories get expanded upon and all that. Now, from what I understand, this is the very first imaginary story, and it's a Captain Marvel one, where basically...
he almost looks like Toto right there.
Yeah, these are way,
Tintin.
Yeah, these are way back, Captain Marvel, and sort of he's seeing, all this destruction.
I didn't even have pupils back then.
And what this is really just sort of a atomic... like a warning of the things that could happen in an atomic war. Because obviously at the time people were afraid of World War III and everything going boom. But at the end you find out,
people do have pupils.
Yeah, and this is what would happen if atomic war, so you find out it's like a TV ad for other kids watching it. And they're like, atomic war is terrible. Let's make sure it never occurs.
Thanks, guys. You're the best.
But you can almost sort of start seeing right away when these are going to be imaginary tales or tales that they magically write themselves out of a paper bag. And they introduce these really off-the-wall situations where Bruce Wayne decides to lay down and have his brain scanned and
see how smart I am.
Happening and he's duplicated. Superman tends to show up in a bunch of these Elseworld tales, and a lot of them are him married to Lois, married to Lana Lang, somebody else married to Lois. For example, Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane.
Are you my wife? Where's my wife?
Yeah, so this is what if Superman had actually married Lois Lane, and basically it's people find out she's the wife of Superman because she just can't keep her mouth shut. It's kind of really insulting.
My God.
She hears somebody talking shit about Superman and she's like, no, I know he's a good person because he's my husband, and it reveals the secret, and therefore it gets her into trouble.
Oh, Lois.
And then there's Lex Luthor,
hero.
Yeah, manipulating Superman. So there's a lot of these, and this is sort of how it starts, right? And so this is sort of a great collection. There's actually a lot of Superman imaginary stories in this particular collection.
Superman's giving people rights?
Yep, he does that every now and then. And this is, I think, Jimmy Olsen married to Supergirl.
Flash is back.
Flash is back because, again, Flash is jumping around realities and popping through dimensions.
I'm creating all the problems.
He's creating all the problems. So...
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, Batman and Robin. There's a whole... There's another version, collection we'll look through where it's the Batman and Robin stories where it concentrates on just them. But yeah, this is Yeah, some of these
Yeah.
are really ridiculous stories. They have here's a really interesting one. Superman Red, Superman Blue. I remember in the 90s when they split Superman into Superman Red and Superman Blue and he had that new funky suit. I had no idea that it came from this imaginary story.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the whole Superman Red, Superman Blue thing comes from this. It is a crib from this idea. And some of these ideas from these early imaginary stories end up going on to be further developed as Elseworlds tales, further developed as, like, you know, things that pop up again. So again, Superman Red, Superman Blue, Superman split into two versions of himself, and each one has a slightly different personality. They also have different power sets and stuff like that. So Superman Red, Superman Blue is a really interesting origin here. Even though it does not follow, you know, even though the late 90s stories don't eventually follow like that course. Superman's 3 wives. Basically, every time Superman gets married, his wife ends up getting murdered.
What?
Yeah, pretty much. See, like, she's, like, being attacked. Snipers are after her because he tried to marry Lois.
Could you keep talking about it, Lois?
Lois gets, like, powers. Like, he develops, like, this serum to give Lois powers for a little while so that she can be just as invulnerable as him, and she starts joining him on, like, his crusades. But the pills take a toll.
Poison.
And it eventually, like, kills her. She doesn't have long to live.
I have grave news.
Yeah, he's a doctor inside of Kandor, who's the city in a jar. So yeah, she dies, right? And then Superman's sad. So Superman decides to take another wife. This time, Lana Lang. I wonder if things will happen differently. Nope. She'll find stuff about Lois because Luthor is speaking into her ear, telling her to do crazy things. And he inadvertently murders. She sacrifices herself. She dies. Yep. So he decides to marry a mermaid. She'll be safe underwater. No, she will not. Not with people throwing harpoons.
Are you sure that's not just a lawn dart?
Not for that guy. That guy died. But yeah, he decides to, like, marry this mermaid, and I don't know how. I just don't understand the mechanics of a fish lower half and a human lower half.
It could just be all about swimming, man.
Apparently it's all about swimming. But yeah, he goes to. They all die. Superman has kids, which, you know, eventually some of these ideas come to fruition in different ways, but these kids have different powers and stuff like that. So that's a fun one with that one. This one's also pretty fun. This is a lot of the Batman ones, and so you have, and this one's sort of the Sheldon Moldoff show. While the other one was the Kurt Swan show, this is the Sheldon Moldoff, and these are sort of two big artists who influence all the artists that we like, you know? And I guess the artists that influence the artists that we like. So you can also see an evolution of Batman over the years. So Batman marries Batwoman, things like that. Evolution of art style. Robin 2 and Batman 2. So it's Dick Grayson and then Batman's son, who he has with Batwoman. So there's that. And so these are actually just a series of stories that Alfred is writing, but he refuses to show anybody because it would reveal...
Is this his fan fiction?
It is Alfred's fan fiction. That is exactly what these are. These are Alfred's fan fiction. And so he's writing it. And right here, it's like, true, nobody will ever read it, but I had so much fun writing this imaginary story of the future that I think I'll write another sometime.
My boys.
And so, yeah, you've got Alfred writing fan fiction. But there is a very particular son of Joker. There's a very particular.
Do they do the shark
here.
jump? Oh my god. They almost do a shark jump.
But he is chasing him on
Yes.
water skis. But this is obviously a toss back to the time of the 50s when these are, you know, a lot more goofy. The Batman TV show, again, comes to mind. Moving through time, Batman 2, again, more fan fiction by Alfred. Batman's Junior, so Bruce Wayne Jr. knows
That kid's neck.
the most jacked kid ever, too.
Jacked up.
Like, his arms, like, shaking from so much, like, power in it. And he's got all these, like, rippling pecs.
Look at it. It's Batman. It's my dad.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
exactly-
sure, John.
That's exactly what happens. Kids are talking shit on him, and he goes to defend him, and basically is like, Batman's my dad. And they sort of figure out a way to work around it.
And then he gets murdered.
Yep. Not really. No. But, again, fan fiction by Alfred.
Alfred.
So we got some more fan fiction by Alfred.
And then there's
It's
a
like-
robot
it's like almost
hand.
all fan
I
fiction
actually
Alfred.
like the concept of Alfred writing all these comic books of his.
Well, now, this one's actually a pretty fun one. So, this is Batman sort of being convinced that Superman was responsible for his dad's death. And so he's plotting Superman's death, like, on a long timeline.
Father.
Like, this starts from when his father is murdered, because he's like a scientist and he thinks it's Superman flying in there. But really it was Lex Luthor, not that. But he's plotting to try and kill Superman. Now, this is why I love this collection right here. I now finally have a frame of reference for this panel.
And what leads up to it?
Which it becomes the most famous meme of all time, and this is Batman slapping the taste out of Robin's mouth, because Robin is basically suggesting, like, you shouldn't try and kill Superman. And so he slaps the taste out of his mouth, and he's like, how dare you?
Shut your damn mouth.
Yeah, so
Father.
he actually inadvertently captures Superman for Lex Luthor, and ultimately pays for it. When he finds out the truth, he lets Superman free, but dies in the process.
Wait, Superman dies or Batman
No,
dies?
Batman dies in the process. Anyway, so these are sort of the roots of the Elseworlds and all that.
I like it.
And the problem with the Elseworlds is that you get, and it's Flash jumping across the place, you get things like this. The JSA or America versus the JSA and Crisis of Infinite Earths. This entire comic right here, the only purpose of it is to explain why the Justice League did not fight during World War II and just end the Nazi regime. And so it literally talks about heroes in different universes and different Earths. And then because all of that is such a convoluted mess, you get Crisis of Infinite Earths, where they have to nuke their entire timeline, all because Barry Allen can punch through reality. Anyways.
Damn it, Flash.
So there we go. DC's greatest collection does it again, giving you a 101 history on the roots of Elseworlds. Never ever believe DC's greatest imaginary stories. Just
There's some good ones, but just
they're not the greatest.
they're not the best.
They're not the greatest. All right. Check them out, people.
Thanks, guys.